welcome back to Deconstructing Damsels. I am your host, Jessica, and today I will be talking eight cozy nights with Courtney from the Cult of Domesticity, and I hope you guys enjoy it. It's coming in just a minute. Before that, a few things. I'm out of school for a couple of extra days, longer than I thought, so if you guys want to tweet at me at damselspodcast, email me at damselspodcast@gmail.com, and you have a suggestion of what I can do, give me an idea, because the survey is out, and I will talk about that later in the month. But until then, I am looking for a guest, so hit me up, let me know. I'm kind of hoping you guys want to join in on the fun too. I'm getting ready for the next year, and I'm in school, so we're trying to do a little bit of housekeeping before. Okay. Secondly, thank you to all my Patreon supporters. I appreciate you so, so much. Thank you, Dee and Jade. Kind of one. Dee and Jade are their sister, so they get their own little section. Thank you to Kerry. Thank you to Kelly. And thank you to Marlene. I want to give you guys the biggest thank yous and much love. If anyone wants to listen to any kind of content that you're not going to find on the main podcast, you can go to patreon.com/damselspodcast. And for $2 a month, you get exclusive content. And this is Christmas month, so that means there's going to be more to be found. Like more movie reviews that are exclusive to, again, Patreon with me and my husband, which will be fun because there's any number of Hallmark and Netflix movies and stuff. I'm probably going to talk a little about the Bridgertons early next year on there as well. You can join for $1 a month and you get access to early releases and your name on the podcast as well. Just check it out. Last little bit. The third thing. If you hear snoring, I am so sorry. My dog has been in this room the entire time I've been recording with Courtney, and she had her little snoring sessions, as she does, because she's older. She has some chest issues because of prior trauma, and so she has her own little world of snoring. I don't know if it's going to be in here, but I thought I'd say thanks for listening, and sorry about that. Now, on to the episode. Enjoy 8 Cozy Nights by Julia Wolf with Courtney. Okay, so I have brought back one of my favorite people, Courtney, for this episode.
We've already been talking for 30 minutes because it's us.
Yes, because we like you guys enough not to make you have to listen to us for the first 30 minutes. We actually go into the point of the show at some point. We keep that for you because we like you.
Yeah. Also, you don't need to hear us catching up for that long.
No, because we basically only catch up either through Twitter DM or on here, and so it's once a month or so.
So it's a lot. We have a good time. It's fine.
It's a lot. I mean, it's a whole thing. So whatevs.
I mean, you got to see a picture of my baby nephew, which was a miracle.
He's so cute with those little lips and the little thing. Yeah,
he's a chunky baby,
Yeah, but
he's chunky in that he's 9 pounds. Not that he's chubby, but it's just oh, you got your chubby cheeks.
And he's a football ready to. I don't know what that word is, but
I don't know.
I mean, at least I didn't make a reference to Polk High, so I'm giving myself credit here.
He is as cute as a latke.
There you go! So we should probably mention today we're reading 8 Cozy Nights by Julia Wolf. And
I know latke joke.
Yes, and I know that some people have been waiting for us on a Hanukkah, because this is actually book 2, because I read the first story that I recommended, and it was so bad I begged Courtney not to read it, because it was just that bad. It was how did I put it? It was something like Left Behind meets I think Touched by an Angel meets Kirk Cameron's debut directorial thing. It's a whole thing.
Yeah, you told me it was a very big hot mess of inappropriateness, and I was like, And not the good kind of inappropriateness.
Yeah, no,
like...
it was just bad. It was like, if anyone in the Patreon has listened, I did one called, like, it's like Sarah's Thanksgiving Miracle or Gift or whatever, and it's by the same author. I didn't realize that when I recommended it because I hadn't read the other one yet, and I was like, woof. Like, I was not putting this on anywhere near it because I am not putting that kind of disrespect on my... Yeah, and I'm not putting that disrespect on my podcast because I like my listeners and I would like to keep you guys, and I like you to the point that I think you're people and I don't want to piss anybody off. So I do think about this when I pick the books, guys. They're not always winners, but I do actually think about this for you guys.
I mean, we did read that coronavirus romance,
which is a Patreon exclusive, and my husband laughed the whole time he was editing it.
Oh,
it's like an hour and a half. So because it's not just the coronavirus book, it's also the things that come after.
Which, I'm not gonna lie, I don't think I've cried so much while recording something. I think we both were continuously laughing and crying because we had to tap out while we were summarizing and going it through. And I didn't read it before. You had all 18 pages of it.
I knew all about the anaconda in his pants. I mean, it wasn't an anaconda.
It was a medium-sized python. Get it right.
Yeah, I know. But
or the microwaved fish tongue.
Or the spikes just... Okay, so let's go back to the good stuff.
Yeah, this was I enjoyed it. I chuckled to myself. I had a great time.
I did too, because like, okay, so I went on Twitter and asked for people. I asked, what's a good Hanukkah story? Because like, I know Hanukkah is not a major holiday. But it's part of the season, and I wanted to find something that wasn't, the most gross thing you could find on your tongue. And there were only like 2 or 3 that were on Kindle Unlimited, which we both have right now, because God bless Good Friday, because I got 2 months of free Kindle Unlimited, and so I've been reading it. And so I was like, okay, I can access this, and I don't have to pay for it, and no offense to paying, it was just at the time I was low on money, so, like, things come up. And so podcastings came up, so I had to pay for things. And I was like, all right. And I was like, okay, 8 Cozy Nights. And we picked this in part because you wanted it because it sounded like...
8 Crazy Nights, the Adam Sandler song?
Yep.
And then I got it stuck in my head for about 2 days. So just sitting at work thinking about it. Then thinking about how I wanted latkes. And then I was like, I don't want to make them. That's a lot. It's a lot of effort. If you've ever made potato pancakes, it's a lot.
It is. Like, we don't have the same ones here, but like in Germany, they make things called puffers, which are, they're like flattened hash browns, but they're not like the hash browns. So in America, in hash browns, you get like little like bricks of them in the freezer department. Mm-hmm. But here, like they're more like puffs. Like they're soft and they're flat, but they're like puffy and they're nice. And I usually make them for my husband. I get them frozen. I make them for him in the morning when I make him his breakfast, because he has 2 breakfasts a day because he has to go to work so early. I make him 1 breakfast, and then I make him another breakfast usually when he comes home if I feel like it, if I feel good, or unless I don't feel good. But now that I'm in school, he does it. But
you're just telling me he's a hobbit. That's all you're telling me.
Yes, exactly. He is a hobbit. This man eats like all the time. Anyway, so our grocery bill is mostly him. I buy like the fruits and the veggies. He buys like the pretzel sticks in big packs. Like, because you can get to be fair, you can get like a bag of pretzels here for like 38 cents. So
it's a good deal.
Yeah, and they're like the crispy kind. They're not like they're inexpensive, but they taste really well, especially if you dip them in something. And I make homemade cheese sauce all the time. But like, so I was like, okay, the latkes. And if anyone has ever read Let It Shine by Alyssa Cole, she also the heroine in that one also makes latkes for her husband, or at the time her boyfriend. And so it's a really nice reality. I think it's kind of like a nice way to bookend the year because I almost started off this year with that, and then I'm almost ending this year with it. So it's kind of a nice, unexpected way that worked.
Mhm.
But I really liked the fact that like I was actually talking about this on Twitter, and Allie Williams actually said that she really liked Eight Cozy Nights as well. So we're not the only one. At least we know 3 people that like it.
It's a good feel good read, like solid. I really related with the main character. What is her name? Larissa?
Yeah, Riss, yeah.
Larissa.
Yeah.
Riss. Mainly because so she moves into this new apartment, and the guy who shares has the apartment across the way, like leaves his bike in the way. And so she's like moving, and so she shoves it, like moves it out of the way, and then he comes back and he puts it in front of her door because he doesn't think anybody's living there, and then she eats shit.
Oh yeah.
Over the bike, and I go, this is 10 out of 10. Probably if I was in a meet cute, 10 out of 10. How it would happen is me stumbling over something. I cut my finger last week. Like, let's not lie, I'm a klutz. My finger's fine. It's all attached still. I'm
not entirely sure you would have actually gone down the stairs after you ate the bike, though.
Oh, well, I feel like it's a bigger landing. Cause just like, they said they're at the top floor, so they're at the top landing, so I think it's a little bigger. So I definitely probably would have just banged my head into his door. Let's not lie. That's probably how it would go, and I'd have a concussion, and we'd have to go to the hospital. But I felt the meet cute very strong.
Well, and I like the fact that, like, his name is Yosef, and, he goes by Yo. And I really liked that because I felt like the names matched the characters.
Yeah.
I thought, like, she seemed a little bit not, like, the most common Larissa in vernacular right now is Larissa from 90 Day Fiancé, and she doesn't feel like her, but she feels a little bit more reserved.
Yeah.
Like, less willing to, like, open up so easily, and it's like, and, we mentioned that it was like a minor holiday, and you feel that in this, but you still feel the spirit of the time and their appreciation and how they work together during that time.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really nice, that kind of, like, balance of showing a different side of life and how they connect and what goes together and stuff like that.
I love Larissa's sister. Mainly, I pulled this. It's from page 2. My sister was a study in contradictions. 10 years older than me, she looked like the typical suburban mom, and she was in some ways. She had 3 kids, lived deep in the burbs of Baltimore, was the president of the PTA, and member of the women's club at her temple. She also wrote BDSM romance novels under her real name, and had the filthiest mouth of anyone I knew. She had absolutely no shame about any of it, and I kind of wanted to be her when I grew up. I kind of want to be her when I grow up.
I highlighted the same thing. That was, I think, that was the second highlight in the story that I picked, because I was like, oh my god, this is perfect. I like it when stories have a little bit of the fandom being together and how they connect and what's going on, and it really works for me, I think.
Oh, also later on we find out the writing layer is called her dungeon, and I was just like, yeah. I enjoyed that too much.
It was like nice callbacks to the fandom. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you said, they mentioned that Hanukkah isn't a major holiday. Like, Larissa was like, I don't have to come over for it. I don't even know if I know I have a menorah, I'll manage. And then brought up that she goes, if it was Passover, my ass would be parked at your table, cramming my face with grandma's brisket. And I was like, that sounds wonderful.
Right?
Oh my god. I just picture Mrs. Maisel and, like, her making brisket, all of that, and just like, oh.
So, I was listening to Too Stupid to Live the other day, and they were talking about a Jewish romance set in Atlanta, and they weren't sure. She and the guests were not sure about if there was a deep Jewish community, and there actually is it's not like huge. I mean, it's not like when you go to New York, but in Atlanta there actually is a pretty wide range of a Jewish community of different philosophies and stuff, and in different sects, and so. I grew up in Druid Hills, which is there's a congregation there. I think it's Best Jacob, I think is the name of it, and it's right off of Druid Hills, which is the name of the road. And it's like you occasionally can walk into the temple and you can see it, and then you can always follow the holidays because it's like the the temple is one place, and then like across the street, like 50 feet or 100 feet down, is an Episcopalian church. So it was very interesting because I grew up Episcopalian, so it was always very interesting to see the difference in the holidays. But I remember like going, okay, I understand some of this stuff. I get it because like the Kroger there is very focused on Jewish customers and Latino customers and Latino. So it's focused on those two areas. So it's very interesting to see how they connect.
Oh, yeah, the Kroger near me is the Jewish Kroger. It's very good. You can often get different things there. But Larissa admits that she goes, I kind of just ignore Hanukkah once I became an adult. Like, I don't get any presents, She talks about how, like, she remembered it at, like the candles burning down and all of that when she was growing up. And that's how that chapter ends. The first one, we meet Yo when he's coming home from work. He works as a hairstylist, and I was like, I like that. It was different. And he was like, it's a family thing. They all do it. And
we found out he's Israeli too, so.
Yeah. And all of a sudden, he, like, notices his bike's there. He moves it. Next morning, he wakes up to basically Larissa, who is trying to leave her apartment, eating shit over the bike.
And cussing up a storm. Not happy in the least.
Yeah. And, like, he thinks she's adorable because she's all angry and pissed off. And, she's like, oh, I don't even have Band-Aids. Because she has, like, she's bleeding. She actually really hurt herself.
Yeah. Because, I mean, it's like, it seemed to be like a fairly large bike, too. Because, I mean, it's a man's bike, and they're typically more dense, I'll say, than a woman's bike. Because, like, I mean, I don't know. It's been a while since I've been to the U.S. bike stores because I never bicycle because I live in Atlanta, and good luck with that because I don't want to die on the roads. So, but over here, like, they've got different kind of bikes, and I see men more, like, with mountain bikes versus, like, city bikes. So I'm assuming he's got a mountain bike. So it's more rugged and, more, because he mentions, like, bicycling for like 10 miles or 20 miles without even thinking about it in the story. So I imagine it was probably a lot rougher than, say, the city bike that has, like, the big, like, swoosh down on the bottom and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, definitely. He definitely is. And, like, she probably, the way she tripped over it, like, she got tangled up in it.
Because she wasn't expecting to be at her door again.
I mean, who does?
Seems valid.
Yeah. And he's like, well, I have Band-Aids. And she goes, don't get handsy. I'm not interested.
Yes, highlighted that too.
And he was like, I'll leave the door open so you can make an escape. And I was like, oh, look at your snarky self. And then she's checking him out because he's shirtless and, like, has an almost six-pack. I was like, sir, don't need to flex so hard, please.
Yeah, he does a fair amount of, like, flexing sometimes in here, like, literal and
he makes a lot of gun show jokes, okay? And I'm here for it because I love cheesiness, but...
and mostly because he saw how she reacted, so he was like, oh no, we have to keep doing that. Yeah! And I was just like, you know what? I feel you, and go forth with your badass self.
Shoot your shot, man. Shoot your shot. So she goes into his apartment. He kindly pulls up, like, a chair so she could prop up her leg. And part of her pants are torn. Like, she's wearing leggings, I should say. It's not like it tore jeans.
Yeah.
And...
because she doesn't ever wear jeans, I don't think.
Why would you? If you get away with wearing leggings, do it. I just discovered joggers. It's an amazing feeling. It's like looser leggings that have pockets.
Pause for a moment. I just checked my Twitter because I was checking my phone because, I was looking for my husband since he's at the doctor to get something. Apparently Gail Simone is following me now.
Ooh. I gotta look up.
Gail Simone is a comic book writer. She basically wrote Birds of Prey and, yeah.
Dang.
She's the one that started the Fridge website, you know, Fridging Women. She's the one that started that whole thing.
What is fridging women?
Oh my god, you've never heard that?
No.
Sorry, we'll get back to 8 Cozy Nights in a moment.
We're sorry, Sven. You're going to have to edit all of this out.
Oh no, I'm going to make him keep it. But Fridging Women is when, like, there was a scene in Green Lantern where the villain, like, kills the girlfriend and literally sticks her in the fridge so the hero can open it up and see her and have man pain. So she wrote like an entire, like, so she has like an entire website about all the times women were killed for man pain or, you know, damaged. And,
so many.
You know, irrevocable. Yeah. And so she did that. So it's huge. So I'm very excited and confused.
I'm always like that, but that's just me.
But I mean, I just didn't expect it because I haven't been in comics in quite a while.
Fair enough. But it's still awesome.
I know. Okay. We'll go back to 8 Crazy Nights now. I just completely...
You just, like, glanced at it and you're like, what?
Yeah, like I said, because I was just looking to see my husband. I was like, because, you know, it's dark outside and he's on his bicycle and I want to make sure my husband is alive. And, you know, I like getting text message occasionally. And I was just like, ba. Yep, okay, we can go back now.
Yeah, this is the great
We shall return to 8, we will return to 8 Cozy Nights now. Pardon me, dear listener, but you've listened to Courtney and I often enough, you know this is normal.
What happens when you put two people with ADHD together? Distractions.
And almost every podcaster seems to have ADHD. Have you noticed that?
I'm friends with a lot of history podcasters, so they don't. But the true crime ones, they're like, hey, what?
Romancelandia is just nothing but, I think, ADHD people in Podcastville.
I love it.
We're all just like, we're on our little group of like, yeah, you want me to do something? Oh, right. Squirrel. Yeah.
I mean, totally wasn't like that when I forgot we agreed to record the COVID one. And you were just like, yeah, we're still doing this, right? And I was like, it was like the day after I go, yeah, definitely. Totally hasn't happened to us before.
No, that's never.
Never. So basically she has to cut off part of her leggings.
So I'm gonna do this again. Apparently, Gail Simone actually retweeted about my podcast.
What?
Oh, I see. It's because Dee, who's one of my patrons and also my friend, posted about it. She actually tagged her in it. Wow. Ooh. Thank you, Dee. Hot dang. I like you. Thank you. Dee's amazing. Like, Dee and her sister Jade are pretty amazing people.
You get free shout-outs, man.
No, I mean, like, she does it all the time. She promotes, and she's just a really good friend. She was, like, the first patron we had, too, that I had.
I love those kind of, like, internet friends where you're like, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what I've done.
She was my husband's friend first, and then she and Jay started listening to the podcast, and they're awesome. Okay, sorry. I want to go back to our story.
Back to latkes.
But I just got very confused. And now I got an answer to the question.
I like it. Now I'm gonna want latkes today, and fuck it, I'll probably make them. No, actually I have zucchini. I'll make zucchini fritters, which is not a substitute, but I need to use them.
What you got.
I have potatoes. I just need to use up the zucchini.
I eat potatoes like at least one meal a day in Germany, so hey.
Potatoes are life. Don't hate it.
Yes. Well, especially because you can get like a 3-kilogram bag of potatoes for like $1, so.
More potatoes, the better.
And they're the little like gold ones, so they're those small ones. Yeah.
So now that ADD sidetracked is over, we'll be back
But
soon.
we're not sidetracking because they talk about latkes in this book like 3 different times. To be fair.
That is true. We haven't gotten to the latkes yet.
But they talk about them a lot.
They do talk about them a lot, and it made me hungry, which was problematic because I read this in the middle of the night. I'm not against making them in the middle of the night, but I need to do other dishes before I cook, so it's like I'm not washing dishes to make potato pancakes right now.
Yeah, no dishwasher, you're just like,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I got a food processor, though, which will help with the shredding, but, like, besides that. Yeah, so speaking of shredding, Larissa's leg. You're welcome for these golden transitions.
Right?
So she has to cut off her legging, like part of her leggings, which I was like, oh girl, no. But they already had a hole in them, so I guess they're legging shorts. They're shorts now.
Yeah.
Just make them shorts.
Just get some Stitch Witch stuff and just like, iron it in and surprise.
Yeah. So
in like 6 months you can use them again. Because they're in Baltimore. We should mention that they're in Baltimore.
Yeah, it's cold.
Mm-hmm.
They get
There's
snow.
I was gonna say it's snowy-ish.
Yeah.
Much like America right now. Yeah.
I mean, it snowed last night, but there isn't snow on the ground now, and I'm very upset. It's cold. It's so cold. I have 2 blankets on, a sweatshirt. I'm wrapped up like a little freaking cocoon, and it's still cold.
We have no snow. We have not had snow all year. Like, we've had some flurries, but not like anything that stuck. Aww. Which is odd, because I'm in Germany. You expect it then.
My sister got 2 feet of snow. I could have sent some to you then. I don't think you want it, but...
I think it may be a bit melted by the time it gets here.
Just be a plastic container of water. It's fine.
Considering the postal service right now.
Yeah. So, he offers to, like... She, like, said she hurt her butt, and he was like, oh, I can check that out for you, too. Which I was like, man, you shooting your shot hard. Hard.
Yeah, like, just, like, roll it down a bit.
Yeah, but he's like, I promise I won't touch, like, let me just, like, package up your leg, because it sounded gross. So.
Yeah, I mean, it sounded like she actually really did hurt herself.
I mean, we find out later, like, she actually did bruise her ass. Like,
yeah. That's
significantly.
Like, that's like, the first line in the next chapter is, my ass was aching, so yes.
I was talking about later in the book when he, like, finally sees her ass and he goes, oh my god, you really did bruise your ass.
Yeah, but it's like, it progressively gets more and more descriptive as it goes about her ass. Like, her legs are fine, but her ass.
I think she didn't bruise her leg as much. It's just all scraped up, so once it starts healing, you're kind of good. I've bruised my ass before. It takes forever to heal. If you're wondering, listener, no, I didn't trip over a bike. I missed a step and fell down 2 stairs, like the couple stairs from the house to the garage at my parents'. It's fine.
I only laugh because you fall downstairs, I fall upstairs, so.
Oh, I didn't fall downstairs this year. I fell upstairs and broke glasses and like 10 glasses in front of all my customers.
Oh, nice.
And spilled beer on myself. But I didn't hurt myself. It was fine.
That was obviously an early let me go home night.
No! I was like, we were almost done anyways. It was like 9:30 or 9 o'clock or something. But I was wearing jeans, so I didn't fuck up my legs. I was really more concerned about that. I hate the stairs at my work. I'm always terrified I'm gonna eat shit on them and like break an ankle or something, but this is where my mind goes. So Larissa realizes, he wasn't actually an asshole. He's kind of nice, and she goes, I was kind of, being a child.
Yeah.
And she goes, he was ridiculously hot with a silly name. And I was like, you like him.
Mm-hmm. And by the way, this book reminds me a lot of like a Hallmarky movie or like a Lifetime or like a Netflix type movie. Like it's written like that. So you've got like literally 8 days for their to get to their HEA, but it's very interesting to see how they get together and what they do and stuff like that. So, but it reminds me a lot of a Hallmark.
Larissa's studying, was it bioethics or something like that?
Yeah, it was like bioethics and like.
I'm here for it. Girl's smart as hell.
She's totally STEMmy. Mm-hmm. But it's like a STEMmy in almost a STEAM way, right? Because it's like the ethics part of it seems a lot more with the arts and the looking into it versus the other way.
Which I had never thought about it, and that shit's fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
And then her sister calls her, and my favorite conversation happens. Her sister asks her if she's decent. Decent? Guess what I'm doing? Masturbating? I dropped the potato while my shoulders shook with laughter. Helena, why would I answer the phone if I was masturbating? Man, I've had to multitask in the middle of a self-love sesh. No, you haven't. So she's making latkes. This is the first time. And her sister's just like, I was just like, First of all, who answers the phone in that? Like, I guess if you're really close to someone, but still.
Right?
Her sister is a riot.
I liked her sister. I'm wondering, because this is like book 5 in the series, so I'm wondering if there's more in the series. I'm wondering if maybe her sister's in one of the other books.
Yes, I hope so.
Because like it just occurred to me, it's in the Sublime, and it's like this is book 5, so obviously there must be, 4 other ones, so I'm wondering if maybe she's in that one.
I just want to know more about her sister. I want to be her best friend. Everything,
Because her sister does not give her any inch. Like,
no.
Like, her sister is just like, don't burn down the house with the candles either. And you're just like, dang.
I mean, I can't lie. I was wax sealing Christmas cards, and that's kind of how I cut my finger, because I started cutting the wax, because I was like, if I had the sticks, I was like, I will burn my house down if I use these, because I tried. And I just looked at myself and I go, no. I need to get the glue gun one because there's no flames involved. Or tiny spoon. But, so they're having a conversation. So she was telling her, like, her sister, like, why she hasn't unpacked and whatnot. And, like, Helena asks about, like, her neighbor, and she's, like, doesn't give her sister any information because, quote, next thing I knew, she'd be writing a character named Yo, chained to a wall, having his gorgeous tight ass flogged by a dominatrix coincidentally named Clarissa. She'd already used my actual name in a previous book. I'm sorry. How do you not want her to be your sister? Like, how? Or friend?
A book I will recommend. I did an episode on it. It's by Sarah Ryder. Mm-hmm. And in it, like, the world she's building in that little community, one of the characters, like, I think the first one in the series, I believe, she's like a erotic romance type and a romance narrator. And so
I'm here for this.
I just thought I'd point that out so that way you can skedaddle on over to KU and maybe find one too.
Wait, what was it?
It was Sarah Ryder.
With an H or no H?
No H.
Oh, she has a couple.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna leave this up on Goodreads. We'll return to this later.
Yes, because I thought it just occurred to me that, like, you would probably like that because I read it and I was like, cause she gave me an arc of it and I was like, oh, this is amazing.
You keep giving me books and I don't have time for anything else now.
Yeah, no, it's Real Kind of Love. That's the name of the book. Clementine Cox is the name of the character.
Yes! Oh, we're adding this to my to read.
I knew you'd like that. I had to share.
So Larissa is, like, looking for her menorah because she got candles.
Oh, by the way, it's in a brewery.
Yes! Real life. I'll drink some beer while I read it.
That's what I wanted to tell you, too. Sorry, we can go back. I just realized it was in a brewery. It's literally called the Books and Brewery series, so...
Yeah, I'm a sucker. I'm a sucker for it. Like, I'm not, yeah.
See? I know you, that's why I'm recommending it. And to the listeners out there, too, but, we're ADHDing again. We gotta stop doing that. Actually, I'm ADHDing more than you today, so...
Oh,
I've been texting... happens when I get
no
sleep.
Same. Oh my gosh, my mom's giving me vitamin recommendations for the virus, and I was like, just get me a hazmat suit, it's fine.
No, you know those little bubbles?
I would
like not the one you like live in, but like like the like little huts, like you see like all the restaurants using. You just need one of those little bubbles.
See, but I still have to go in the bubble. I want the hazmat. Like I would love the actual bubble that I could walk around in because I would just bump into people, but I could not do my job.
But see, if you have the little bubble you go into, people can leave you food outside of it. And then you don't have to cook, you don't have to clean, you can just...
But I like cooking. I don't like cleaning.
Yes, I know. But while you're doing your like third or fourth, quarantining, you can do something different this time.
So I slowly scream into the void.
Exactly. As you slowly quarantine.
Listeners, you have to understand, like, the beginning, like, we ended Sunday with the whole staff getting a message, hey, so-and-so tested positive for COVID. Y'all have to go get tested and have a negative test before you can return to work. So we all did it Monday. Someone else turned up positive, and, like, they're not servers. These are people, like, who would end up, like, taking their mask off, sitting and working at a table. And, like, the next day, I wake up to a text, like, another message on the system from my boss being like, so I woke up this morning with fever, body chills, something else. And I just go, you fucker!
Yes.
Because while I had been around the first person, I was always masked. The second person, I wasn't super close to them, and it, like, wasn't recently, and normally I'm wearing a mask because we were open. This person, my boss, because I've been opening the restaurant a lot, I've been around maskless at various points. Like, not always super close, but, like, we've all
close
definitely,
enough.
like, been around. I'm just like, especially because when I was waiting to get my test, or get my results back, there were, like, I parked next to a coworker, another coworker parked next to me, and then there was another person across the lot. And the person next to me goes, I wonder if this place just gives out, false negatives. And I just looked at him and I go, don't you dare do that to me. I was like, because at that point I wasn't an aunt. I was like, I would like to meet my niece or nephew at some point and see my family. And he goes, and I was like, I will kill you. And now I'm paranoid about that.
And the thing is you work with knives, so...
No, they don't give me knives out. We don't really get sharp knives. We give out butter knives. I don't think they would trust me with real knives.
But I mean, you work in an establishment with knives, so...
That's true. They normally keep them away from me because I come in injured enough.
But I mean, if...
First of all, that would not be how I got rid of a body there. Not the best way.
I don't know. Fried green tomatoes did a pretty good job of it.
See, we have hot brewing tanks.
Mm-hmm.
It could be an accident.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I'm going to say.
Mm-hmm. I'm saying, just...
There's plenty of places in that building to hide a body. I'm not helping my cause, am I?
No, you're not. That's why I was going with the knives.
So...
Because you're not allowed to use knives, so...
I am not allowed to use knives. They're, like... As proof by me cutting across my knuckle last week, and someone asked me how did I do that, and I said, that's a great question. Like, a customer asked me. I was wearing a neon yellow Band-Aid, so it was fair. My one coworker stabbed himself with a butter knife, and I have not done that yet. So, props to me.
You're a wall up.
I forget how he did it, too. It was like, he was, like, trying to open something with the butter knife and just stabbed it into his finger, and I was like, did a good job, too, and I was like, How? I haven't managed that. And I cut myself 3 times making pie. And not in the ways you expect. It was not cutting up anything. Because that one had nothing needed to be cut up, really.
I'm impressed you have not cut yourself making bread.
I don't really use any sharp objects.
But you make bread all the time, and it's you. So I'm kind of impressed you haven't managed to somehow cut yourself when you're making bread, because you have such a small little tiny kitchen space.
That's true. Yeah, no, I haven't. I've burned myself a lot, but I have a really healthy aloe plant, so that solves that problem quickly. Why do you think I bought it?
Yeah, because there's a reason why.
I bought it at the beginning of quarantine. I was looking for toilet paper, and I walked out of Home Depot with the plant. What else happens?
Well, why not?
Why not? Anyways, back to fire.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, like, it relates, because now, like, basically they're on the second day.
Yeah, they're on the...
And, like,
are they on the second day or are they on the first day?
No, she's on the phone now, but the second one. I've moved on to the second day, because there's, like, 8 days, and we're already at 42 minutes. So, alright.
Oh, they have to... He has a menorah, she has candles.
Right.
They celebrate this day together.
And they make latkes.
Which right? I want some now.
Oh, and there's this whole debate about, like, is it gonna be sour cream or applesauce?
Are you a sour cream or applesauce person?
Can I go with both? Because I did not have applesauce until I was here with potatoes, and now that I have had it, I'm like, oh my god, what I've been missing all my life. But I still like my sour cream because I'm Southern, damn it.
I like eating this applesauce after the fact, but I'm a total, like, smother them in sour cream. Like, an unhealthy amount of sour cream. Like, it's kind of disgusting. But I'm here for it every time I do it. Oh, it's so good.
Okay. So, like, in this chapter, like, the next chapter is basically just, like, what do you do? Like, background on what they do, and, like, he talks about being a hairstylist, and then, like, they're asking what they're going to do for Hanukkah for night number 2, and then, like, they get together, blah, 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 blah. She's checking out her ass in the chapter after that.
I mean...
Oh, wait, she's wearing skinny jeans for that one.
Oh, when they go to his cousin's.
Mm-hmm. Which apparently is night 2.
Night 3, isn't it?
I thought so too, but this says night 2.
Oh, so the first night they shared it. Oh, yeah, the first night they shared because she didn't want to go anywhere. Mainly because her body hurt, and, I just love that she couldn't find her menorah amidst all the boxes of books, because that sounds like a problem I have.
Mm-hmm.
He invited her over to his cousin's, and she dresses up to be cute.
This is when I started getting that Hallmarky vibe, by the way, was this chapter.
Yeah. They find out that his cousin's wife is pregnant again. And I love that they named their kids after, like, X-Men characters.
Because, like, the toddler is Logan.
Mm-hmm.
And later on we find out the new baby girl is Gray.
Yeah.
Grey. Grey. I appreciate that.
Oh, I just appreciate
I love all the little fandom-y references from different fandoms.
Yeah. So they just make googly eyes at each other all night.
Mm-hmm.
And when they get back, like, they're sitting in the car and they, like, almost kiss, and they don't. Because he's like, it's getting cold. And then they go in, and she knocks on his door later, and she goes, you should have kissed me. And then she stepped closer, her breast skimming my dress, but I should have kissed you too. And then they just make out in his doorway for who knows how long.
Long enough that if they'd done a little bit more, they would have been, like, fornicating in the middle of the hallway.
Yeah, but they're on the top floor. No one's going to see. Well, I don't know what the positioning of the doors and stuff, but...
Because he says, I wanted to touch her everywhere, to feel the give of her flesh under my hand. But for tonight, this was enough. Her mouth was more than enough. The little sound she made as I slid my tongue across hers, how she completely melted against me when I squeezed the back of her neck. It was like that kind of make-out session.
Real hot.
Uh-huh.
The next day...
And then she, like, licked the top of her lip. Well, she licked the top of her lip, and I liked that one. Like, she was trying to get the last taste of him.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, the sex scenes in these are hot.
Mm-hmm.
The next day, he was like...
They're hot without being erotic.
Yes.
Like, they're hot because the characters are fully into it and it's all consensual.
Yes. The next day, he has, like, a little thing so he can ride his bike inside for the winter. Because after she ate shit on the bike, he's been storing it downstairs so she would not die again.
Eat more shit.
Yeah. Yeah. And she's like, can I sit over there while you do that? Because she goes, I just need a change of scenery. Because she's been writing and working.
Mm-hmm.
And she just says, quote, I'm going to sit on your couch and periodically ogle you. Deal? End quote. I was just like, I love it. She's like, I'm going to work, check you out a little bit. Work, check you out a little bit. We good with that. Cool? And he's like, I'm going to do the same thing. And she was like, okay, let's go.
I like how they're both, like, brazenly, like, looking at each other now.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that, like, they're, I like the fact that, like, this is, like, day 5. So we skipped some days, sorry, guys. But some of the stuff's kind of repetitive a little bit. Mm-hmm. So
they're both stalking each other without stalking each other because they're neighbors.
Right. And I'd like to have my husband in bed before, like, midnight so he can... Because he's going to upload this thing for you guys tonight because we're recording it on the last night of Hanukkah. So we're trying to make this as easy for my husband as possible.
Yes. I do like, quote, Larissa was fully immersed in what she was doing, and so was I, but every once in a while we catch each other's eyes, and it was all I could do not to go flying off my bike. She had me off balance and twisted up. but only in the best way, end quote. And I, like, then when he's done, she's like, he's all sweaty, and she was like, I don't get why girls like men all sweaty. She goes, it's kind of gross. And she goes, but I mean, if you, basically if he showered, he could, like, rub himself all over her, and he goes, I gotta go shower now.
Be right back.
Be right back. And then I think they go on a little cute coffee date. They have a really hot makeout session in a coffee shop while eating donuts.
Yes. And then he takes her to the library. Which is, like, to me, one of the hottest things.
Well, not just any library, like a historic building kind of library. So you're just like...
that she had never been to.
Yes. Oh, I've been to some of these kind of libraries, and you just walk in and you go, oh my god. Oh my god. I want this. It's basically if you want to live in Beast's castle from Beauty and the Beast, but you just want the library, that kind of deal.
It's like all those Pinteresty pictures.
Yeah, I think it's a 1930s Art Deco building, and I'm just like, I'm here for this. I've done research in one of those libraries. It's amazing.
It's like you walk in and just like, it's like just so important.
I was at
it's like a holy grail in that way. Like, you're just like, oh, this is my place. This is where I fit in. This is home.
I walked into the Newberry Library in Chicago to do research, and I was just like, oh my god. But like, oh my god. Then I had to go put all my shit in a locker, go through security. 'Cause yeah, they have security at those places. And then I go up this magnificent staircase. This is in Chicago. And this used to be a home, which always blows my fucking mind. But, like, you go all the way up, and then, like, the main library is beautiful. It's like this, I don't know what kind of room it was. It's where you get your library card. And then I go all the way up to Special Collections, which was up another floor. And you're in this, it's a weird juxtaposition, because you're in a glass box, kind of a plexiglass box for temperature control. And there's all these, like, old books, and there's people, like, working on maps and illuminated manuscripts, and then you look out, and it's the Chicago skyline, but there's a park across the way, so there's, like, greenery, and then the Chicago skyline, and you're like, what is my life? How can I, like, this is magical. And it is. That's what I picture this library being, that magical.
Yeah.
You know.
And like, she's obviously so into it. Like they keep having, like, she grabs him and they keep looking at more when she gets her card, and like, it just...
I love, she gets her card and she goes, I gotta go check out some books. And he's like, I'm so turned on by this.
But it's really interesting too, because, like, so I noted, like, in the thing when they were doing the bicycle and she was reading, it talks about how, like, reading was really good for him, but he needed something to work off that excess energy, which, I mean, ADHD all the way for this guy, right? Mm-hmm. And so, but it was really interesting because it's like, she also gave him her paper to read, and, like, he read it and understood it.
Yeah.
I was talking to her about it, which is like, hot damn.
Oh, yeah.
Which is just as hot for me when I'm researching something and someone can follow it. I'm just like, yeah, you get it. I'm glad. Thank you.
Yeah. So they have a wonderful time at the library. They read to each other, which I was like, damn, that's hot. And then I believe they go back and they celebrate the night of Hanukkah. And I kind of liked it because I just thought this was, like, the nicest part. Quote, Yo played with the hem of my shirt as we stood there quietly until he worked his hand underneath to my bare skin. My stomach wasn't my favorite part of me, but from the hardness I felt pressed against my ass, he didn't agree. He didn't try to touch my breasts or go further. His fingers just glided back and forth across my skin until I was mesmerized by both the candles and him. And I was just like, that is...
Yes, I had that highlight, and I also had, like, the next line that he says, your skin is so soft, I knew it would be, he murmured. And that means a lot, because, like, that's something that my husband says to me all the time. Because, like, when we go to bed, we curl up. Like, we don't have a double bed. Our room is big enough for a double bed, but I didn't want to do it that way. So we have I guess at home would be considered like a twin extra large. We have, like, one of those size beds. And so we have a very small, limited amount of space. So we lay curled up. And, like, him, like, pressing against, like, him, like, rubbing my back or, you know, rubbing my stomach or anything like that, it feels so comforting, but also, like, you feel safe in that moment. Like
Mm-hmm.
you feel like you're in the right place, right time, and it's easier like for me to go to sleep. Obviously, that's not what they do in
Yeah.
this night, but it's still got that feeling, right? Like it's being told your skin is so soft when you don't do anything is very nice too.
Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna let you go from here.
Yeah, so like in the next chapter, like they don't the next chapter like he's like avoiding going to her apartment because like they hadn't made plans and he doesn't want to be like all
Clingy.
pushy and stuff. Yeah. So he goes and hangs out with his cousin when they went to the Hanukkah with Avi, and so he and Avi are talking and they're like, well, I'm gonna need some help, I've got one person like pregnant, another one's gonna be gone for pretty much the same reason. I'm gonna have a baby soon, like, and Yo is just like, oh no, I can help with that. That's fine. And I'm just like, good, good cousining there, right? Like that's you expect that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I love the fact that like it was all about the family
Yes.
and like also making more money because it's like it's a different clientele because it's like a half hour away or something. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
you're getting a completely different set of clients that can go back and forth depending on where you are,
Yeah. And
which make
apparently
the money.
make
Hmm.
that money. And apparently she
Hmm.
had been doing the same thing. Like they both were like really freaked. Like he was like, I don't want to seem stalkerish. She was like, I'm freaking the fuck out.
Hmm.
So she goes to campus. She works at the library, and then they come back and she like, does she knock out? Yeah, she knocks on his door, and then they all bets are off.
Hmm. Because like they light the candle and they watch the way it kind of like falls down, and as the menorah gets hotter, the candles they melt faster. So she's watching it melt a whole lot faster than it was like 5 days before. And then to quote Heaving Bosoms, it's on TM.
She just basically was like, they start making out, and she's like, not enough, and just starts stripping in his apartment. I was like, fair enough.
Right? Like, why not? Candles out, the holiday moment's over. Get
Um,
naked.
yeah. They basically go to his room, and, you know, he eats her out.
Hmm.
And
Oh, I like
then,
the part where she's like fumbling with his jeans button while he unhooked her bra
yeah.
and slid the straps down her shoulders. I just find that really sexy.
Oh, yeah.
Just so, I thought I'd point that out because I think that's sexy. I like the undressing part of it.
It was a good undressing scene, because it wasn't, like, gratuitous, but it was just, like, very practical, where it's kind of like, like she eases her lacy boy shorts down her legs. I
Hmm.
did highlight they do use condoms, because Kelly from Boobies and Noobies pointed that out. She goes, anytime they don't talk about contraceptives, I'm just like, what are you doing?
Clayton from Learning the Tropes is the same way.
So now, ever since, like, that, and she goes, do you guys not need lube? Like,
That's what I wonder every time. I'm just like,
she just don't point out things.
I don't
and
think
I'm
that's
just
how
like,
bodies work, guys.
like, she goes, you didn't prepare at all. Like, da 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 da. And I was like, oh my god.
Hmm.
I didn't think about that.
Kelly's right. They don't. Like, they just expect it to be instantaneous. I'm like, y'all, foreplay it's important for more reasons than just like the emotional connection.
Yeah, I mean, there was we skipped over. There was a lot of foreplay
Oh yeah.
in this.
I mean, like these two are like all about the foreplay. They will spend like a lot of time foreplay.
yeah. She wants it hard,
Hmm.
and she lifted the side of her head and bit the side of my chest, not gently, and I went completely wild. Pulling out, I slammed into her, and slammed and slammed and slammed. I didn't slow, I didn't stop. I took her hard. She bucked and writhed beneath me, and I was just like, damn.
Right? I actually ended up reading that aloud to my husband. I was like, that was some really good sex writing.
Yeah.
Because it said so much without saying a lot. Like, you understood, like, the fervent way they were enjoying each other's company in that moment.
Yeah. I do like their after sex conversation. Have we been dating? Her tone was laced with teasing. I hope so, because otherwise I just had sex with a woman I've only taken to dinner one time, and she'll probably think I'm some kind of floozy.
Yep. I had that one highlighted, too, because I was like, That was great. That was like an unexpected role reversal on that one.
Yeah, because he's
and
always
the fact
joking.
a man using floozy. Yep.
Yeah. They then go. She brought over donuts, so they then go eat donuts and then have sex again.
Mm-hmm.
And I just love, how he it's described. Then she walked completely naked out of the room. I sat there for several seconds, tongue-tied, and as hard as I've ever been, because as much as I studied and savored and salivated over Larissa's body, this was my first glimpse of her curved back and luscious, ripe ass. And fuck if I wouldn't follow her absolutely everywhere. I was like, anywhere. I was like, oh.
And we should mention, like, in the book, like, she's considered to not be like she's curvy, but like it doesn't really describe what that curvy is, but it's obviously like she's not twiggy. And no disrespect people that are, but like the way they describe her, it's obvious that like they want you to imagine someone that's like not a Coke bottle either. Like it's very clearly someone who doesn't go running every day. She doesn't do, like, she's comfortable in her own body with whatever type that is, which is why she wears her leggings and her like shirts over it, and she's very clearly a confident woman in her. She doesn't try to like change it, and she doesn't run from it when he sees her either.
No.
Which I think is important, because a lot of times some of the romances in the past have done that, especially around like the early 2000s. There was a lot of that body shaming. So it's really nice to see her really enjoying how her body fills out and the way it affects him.
Yeah. She leaves. She doesn't spend the night because she was just like, I don't want to rush this and ruin it. Mm-hmm. You know? And that's where we find out.
She calls it being a realist, and I like her about that.
Yeah, she's like, I'm being honest. Like, we're moving pretty fast, and we need to slow this down a little bit. I don't need to be sleeping over with him every night, you know?
Because it's been like day 6 now, so they haven't met. They've only been together for like 6 days, not like
if that
6 months. So yeah.
This is where we find out where she had been all day. She had met with the professor, then went to the library, stayed longer than she needed to, because she goes, if I went home, I'm going to ogle him all day, every day, you know? And she feared that, like the menorah, if they burned too bright, too hot, they would end as soon as they started. Mm-hmm. But then she goes, at least I'd get to feel the flames. And I'm just like, damn.
And it snows on this day.
Yes! I love it. She woke up and she goes, why is it so bright? And anybody who's, like, woken up to, like, a lot of snow, you're just like, what is this?
Why is the sun bouncing through my entire life?
Yeah. It was always me when I walked out of school when it would snow, and you'd walk out, and it's kind of dark in the hallways, and you walk out, and you'd be like, what is this? You're like Jack Skellington, except for it's like, I can't see right now. So they go and play in the snow, and he goes, you sure you don't want to come play naked in my apartment? And she was like, well, if I go outside and we play in the snow, I'll get cold, and then I'll have to be warmed up. And he's like, I got what you're thinking.
Yep.
And
he was like, the perfect kind of bribery for him is
sex.
Yep.
So I love that she says when she dresses for the snow, she resembles a marshmallow, a warm marshmallow, but still a marshmallow. And I was like, that's everybody when they dress for the snow.
Uh-huh.
They had an epic snow, she talks to him about, like, the sound of the snow.
Yeah,
and there
I
is
loved that.
It's, like, kind of quiet, but then you hear all these different things. You know, you hear people, like, having a good time in the snow, people walking, and they're out there for probably an hour or two. They go back in, they are freezing.
Oh, they also discussed her sister. Hold on. They also discussed her sister, like how her sister taught her how to make a snowball.
Oh, yeah, because
she says, my sister would have fucked me up if I hadn't learned a strategy at a very early age. She's 10 years older, but she never took it easy on me. And I thought that was very interesting because it shows how, like, she's like, I'm a realist, but I can also create a strategy to get what I want.
Yeah. So they go back to her place. They're so cold. And she's like, okay, we'll come into the bed. And they cuddle for a while because, you know, they're fucking freezing.
Yep.
And then we have sexual encounter number 2, which, you know, doggy style.
Oh,
And
but wait. Before we talk about that, like it's one thing I really liked was I like the fact that like she talks about like what she likes in a man's aesthetic. Because she talks about like men didn't generally have the artistic curves of women, but I still saw the beauty in their bodies. The thicker, tougher skin, the coarse hair covering the planes of muscle, the narrowness of their hips, the V that some men were lucky to have. If I'd been an artist, all of my paintings would have been of that V. Yo had the V. I ran the tips of my fingers along the ridge of the muscle, and he rocked his hips forward towards me. Are you warming up? I asked. Keep doing that. I'm still a little cold.
forgot
I
about
like that. That was like I highlighted that because I was like, that's such a like really nice way of like segueing into the sex.
Yeah. So
And that's also when he discovers that she's really hurt her ass in that part.
yeah, he starts like kind of just touching her back and all of that stuff, and like she has like a 3-colored bruise. Like
Yeah.
I was like when I read, I was like, damn, I feel that pain.
Like, baby, do you have a cushion? Like, do you have a cushion you can sit on? Because I don't think it's gonna be comfortable sitting on that chair doing your work all the time.
No. Well, she said that's what like she was having a hard time working the one time because her butt hurts so much. I was like, yeah. So once he's in her, he goes, "You're so warm." I turned my head, trying to see him over my shoulder. Oh, is that what this is about? Stealing my heat? He bit my shoulder just as he slapped his hips against my ass. That's exactly what this is about. It isn't that I like you more than I should. Or slap. Or that I find you so fucking beautiful I can't even think straight. Slap. Or that your pussy is like hot velvet and I never want to leave. Slap, thrust, slam. I was just like, damn. Damn.
Right?
I like that it's like he's doing it as like he's like seducing her and you're just like, damn.
And he keeps like another thing with him is I love is he plays with her clit. Like he's not like in some romance books you're just like y'all do know that some women need more like some people can't get off vaginally. Yeah, they need some work and it's just like oh
yeah. And he basically keeps dirty talking her until like she goes, I was so out of it. He's like, damn. And it's just like, yeah, he basically like she was like trying to basically hold it off, but then he kept pressing her clit and she kept coming and coming. I was like, damn, son.
Right.
You do good work.
Right? I'm just like I usually avoid sex scenes in books, but some of these were ones that were like actually important to the plot line.
Yeah, because then afterwards, he like they were talking about what they're gonna do, and she's like, I gotta do work, and he's like, well, I could read to you, like he wants to help her, and I was just like, oh, that's so sweet. He goes, tell me what you're researching. I want to know what you're learning. Hell, you can read it to me if you want, and I was just like, damn, that's hot.
It's like it's so obvious how much they like enjoy each other and they're each other's company, not just like in the bedroom or the like romance side. Like they enjoy each other as people or getting to know each other as people, which I think is way more important too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Basically he's like, then we find out his the men in his family love.
Well, that's by the way, that's the 7th night, so it's only one more night.
One more night. That's the fear. It's one more night. Is this just a Hanukkah romance? And this is where he goes, he realizes he's like falling in love with her, and he goes, but the men in my family loved big and we loved hard. My dad proposed to my mom within a month of meeting her. My cousin Avi married Laurel within 6 months. I wasn't thinking of marriage, but damn if I didn't think I was falling in love. And you're just like, aww. Makes you all warm and gushy inside.
And then like he kisses her hello, and he's like it's been 8.5 hours, and they're doing that like that scene where like they're missing each other so much and in the best ways.
Yeah. And then she gives the best response. It's been 9.5 hours since you were inside me, and I know that's definitely not right. I was just like, damn. Oh, and this is when she goes to the library. And they go to the library. It's really sexy. We've already talked about that. Oh, and then they're making latkes again.
Because it's like a full like start Hanukkah with latkes. Finish Hanukkah's with latkes on the story arc.
Yeah. And her sister answers, and calls her a hoe, and she was like, I don't think you're supposed to. And Helena snorted, I don't remember any rule about not calling my sister a hoe during the holidays. If it's actually a sin, I'll go to confession and ask for forgiveness, do some Hail Marys or something. I'm sorry, I love her sister.
And then she's like, Helena, for the last time, we're Jewish, not Catholic. Yom Kippur is when we wipe the slate clean. Shit, I need to write that down.
Which you know she knows, and she's just messing with her.
Uh-huh. She's doing big sister.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then she ends up, like, FaceTiming her family, and I think she's at Yo's apartment, and he walks in, and I'm just like, they're like, hello. And her, like, little cousin kept calling her, niece kept calling him a monster.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I like this child.
But I also like the fact that her other niece was, like, collecting money.
Mm-hmm. For charity.
Yeah, which I thought was, like, amazing. Like, it seemed like it fit the story, and it fit, like, the overall theme of this story somehow. But I like the fact that, like, she just brazenly asked, like, hey, yo, you want to contribute?
I know. Children are fun. In that way.
It's like, who needs, like, Christmas paper? We got something better. Yeah.
So they hang up, they're working on it, and then they start making out, and then they have sex again. They go back to making latkes afterwards. I'm assuming they wash their hands. I would like to assume they wash their hands.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, like, do our families do holidays differently? And she's like, but that's kind of presumptuous. Like, we've only spent 8 days together. Like, this is crazy. It was not crazy.
No.
And he goes, so let's be, because they're both on vacation right now.
Mm-hmm. And he calls it vacay, or she calls it vacay Larissa, not school Larissa.
Yeah. And so she's also like, you're working crazy hours, I'm going to be working crazy hours. And so this is where let's be Judah Maccabee, and this description was, Judah Maccabee, he led a small band of soldiers to defeat the largest, mightiest army and had reclaimed the Holy Temple. The story of Hanukkah, defying insurmountable odds, believing they could do it. And they did. Let's be Judah and say, fuck the odds, fuck the obstacles. We want this, so we'll make time. And I was just like, damn, that's the truth, though, about relationships.
Right. And the thing is like, so that's said, but then you also hear, like, he bought her sour cream for her latkes. Like, he went to the store and specifically got something for her so that way she could fit into his traditions and he could fit into hers.
Yeah.
Which was like, and that was before he even said that. So it's just like, there's something very comforting. Yeah. Like, this is why I keep saying a Hallmark movie, because it's like, it reminds me so much of a Hallmark movie, and the fact that, like, this is about, like, 85% of the way through a Hallmark movie, where, like, they're smiling and laughing before they have to break apart for whatever reason and then get back together. I like how everybody knows exactly what I'm talking about when I say that.
It's about 75% through the movie, yeah.
Yeah. And we've got like 7% left of the book, so it's about the same.
So they do that, though, and this is in the epilogue. In the last 9 months, we had highs and lows. Though the former far outnumbered the latter, celebrated Passover, birthdays, and took a trip to the beach, met families and friends, and fell in love. Yes, I loved her back in December, but that was only the beginning. And Larissa was slower and more deliberate in her falling, but that's who she was. It took another month for her to say the words after I did, but I never worried. I was just like, aww.
Yeah, because he said it on the 8th day of Hanukkah.
I would be terrified. Like, just be like, what?
I can't say much because I knew I was going to marry my husband the first time we talked online, so...
You're better than me, man.
I knew I was falling in love with him like the first 3 days. And I don't fall in love easily. Like, I've never been that girl. But I knew, like, knowing him, he was my everything, and I already knew that. Like, I already knew that, like, we were meant to be together no matter what. And so... it's a whole thing, and so I get it. I get where he's coming from in that. Because, like, there's just some part of you that clicks into place, and you're like, okay, this is my person, this is how I get along, this is my love. Mm-hmm. And so I get it, and I loved it.
Oh,
it was so cute.
So
And
you're
so, like,
literally a Hallmark movie is what you're telling me. You're welcome.
yes, I am literally a Hallmark movie. I even did the whole, like, moving countries.
You know, you move
I'm
from
just
the
not
big
royalty.
You move from the big city to the country. Isn't that
And then I
always how it
moved back
goes?
to the big city.
Yeah, it's fine.
Because I don't do country. I didn't do country in the U.S. either.
Oh, I don't either.
Look, country to me is Holiday Inn. Okay? Like, that's my baseline.
Motel, Holiday Inn. You're welcome for that. But yeah, and they're celebrating. What are they celebrating? Yom Kippur?
Yeah.
He's fasting, and he's like the biggest baby because he's always hungry.
He's hangry.
I mean,
his words. He's hangry.
I get hangry too, and I get it so much. But yes, and it's just sweet because they're like, his mom was like, yeah, he's always eating, and she goes, I think it's cute, said Larissa. You're so in love, it's fucking adorable, said Helena. I love her sister. I don't even care. I'm gonna figure out which book is hers, and I'm gonna be thrilled about it. That's what I've been.
I hope she's in that series because she's got so much, like, it feels like she's part of the series and you just haven't read her book.
Yeah. I just want to be friends with her sister. Don't at me.
And then, like, Logan and Vivi, which was her niece, like, gathered up and were, like, apparently over in the corner, like, plotting the world's demise.
Oh, I love it.
It was awesome. And then, of course, you know, there's, like, the happy ending, like, this is our life, this is our love, this is where we're gonna go. But, like, I loved the story.
Mm-hmm.
And at first, I wasn't sure if I liked it or not. It took me a couple days to really think about it, if I liked it. And I realized later that I did like it because it was more Hallmarky than I realized. And looking back, I was like, oh, this plot meets this beat. And I was like, oh, it's a Hallmark movie, but not.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
So Avi has a story. I can't remember what Helena's...
John.
Oh, I don't think she has a book.
How is that possible?
What? Yeah, there's a James. Yeah. There's a James, an Anna, and a Will. A Joe. Yeah, no. I
can't, what?
There's a Charlie. And then there's an Avi. And I'm just like, no, I need to know.
Which, by the way, this one was published in 2018. I don't think I mentioned that. But so it's, like, fairly new.
Yeah.
And then, like, the one before this is Fix Her Up, which is Avi's story.
Yes. Which I'm here for that, too. But I want Helena's.
Which, by the way, apparently Fix Her Up was originally called Pixie Cut.
Aw. Oh, 'cause of hair.
His hair, yeah. Like,
No.
I kind of wish that, like, the authors wouldn't change their titles just because some people don't get it. Because, like, the one before that was called Cut Free.
That seems like something happened and she had to read.
And then there was, like, Cut Loose and
yeah, I think
with new
it.
content. Yeah.
I wonder if it's all his family.
I think it is because it's, like, they're all talking about cutting.
Yeah.
Like, hair cutting.
I'm guessing they made them change it. If you bet I'm not going through all of her series.
Trying to find Helena?
Yes! I want Helena's story.
I know my friend well enough by now. Because Helena has the best backstory. I want to know more.
I want to know her story. Yeah.
Like, okay, Julia Wolf, if you're listening, please give us Helena's story. You could make it like 2.5 if you need to. Make it a novella of like 20,000 words. I just want to know how this woman went from being like an erotic like writer with a dungeon room in the basement to like connecting to her little sister Larissa. Like, I need like at least a novella. Please.
I need something.
Because there's just so much material there. We want to see.
Oh my god.
Pretty please, with cherries on top.
I just want it. Oh, nope. I've gone through a couple of her series already.
Julia, please.
I don't think there is one. I'm very upset. I'm going to tweet at her.
Oh, good. Go for it.
I'd be like, is there a Helena series? I'm just asking for a friend. The friend is me.
Because we're reviewing A Cozy Night.
I want it. I want it.
We need, please.
Please? Everyone please tweet. Helena is the best.
to follow the Healing Bosoms, justice for Helena.
Tell us how she got her dungeon. Tell us.
Tell us how she became a sex writer. Like, I want to know how she, like, started writing erotica. And I say sex writer because of the word she uses in the book, not because that's what she writes, but, like, the tonality she has in this book.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. Please.
Ugh.
Okay, so obviously we really like this book.
I'm gonna give it 8 candles out of 8 candles.
I'll give it 5 latkes out of 5 latkes.
Oh, we forgot to mention our latka socks.
Yes!
There's just so, like, and it's like Lemony Snicket's the screaming latka socks, and I was just like, I don't know what this is, but I want it. I just want latka socks. I'm gonna look this up.
I loved it. Like, this was such a good book. It was so much fun, and I'm so glad it was so much better than the original one, and I was like, this one has got, like, such...
By the way, the book's called The Latka Who Couldn't Stop Screaming.
Well, if the Latka can't stop screaming, we got bigger problems.
It's perfect for 2020. The Latka can't stop screaming. The lambs haven't stopped screaming. I haven't stopped screaming. It's...
Okay, so this is a really good episode. Yes, because I know you guys are all listening. And if you'd like to hear more of Courtney, because Courtney is my ADHD partner here, we always go off the rails, far off the rails, sometimes in a completely different continent sometimes. But anyway, so where can they find you, Courtney?
You can find me at the Cult of Domesticity on all podcatchers and things. I'm on all the social medias. I probably will be making latkes today, if not potato zucchini fritters. Yeah. And I'm going to be starting a food Instagram probably in the new year. So, because I can't commit enough. Yeah.
You know, because you make bread like 4 times a week.
I can't do that. That's so much bread. But the basic premise, and I'll probably post when I finally decide on a title, is that anytime you see those recipes on the internet and you're like, I don't really know, I want to test those out. Like, let me make that weird shit.
Are you going to be on Pod Appetit?
I don't know.
You should. Because some of those recipes have to come from the Appetit people.
I mean, I do want Claire's cookbook, so.
Oh, I started watching, what's her name? I can't remember her name. The lady in the Delish movie? The Delish ones? She lives in, like, New York. Julia? Is that her name? But, like, she does, like, these challenges where, like, she makes, like 7 or 8 meals for, like, $20 a week or whatever.
Oh,
and I was just
yes.
like, June, that was her name, June. I was thinking Julia because I was listening to Julia. June. I like her. I sit here and just watch her videos for, like, hours.
I just like that she does affordable ones.
Yes. And, like, I like the fact that, like, she also changes up what she makes with it. So, like, you never know what you're going to find.
Yeah, she'll make, like, crazy things.
I got lost in it for a while. I was just like, can we keep her? Could she just be she's on my YouTube all the time because I watch her all the time, so. Mm-hmm. Yes, I get lost in recipe lands. I also like that Alex, whatever his name is, he's a Greek guy. I can't say his last name. I can't say Greek last names. My mouth just, but, like, he's really good. I'll have to send you the link. Because, like, he makes a lot of, Greek recipes and stuff, but he made, like, the Greek snowflake cake the other day.
Snowflake cake?
Yeah, it's like you put it, like, there's actually a mold that's a snowflake you can actually put in to make it look exactly like a snowflake too.
Ooh.
I'll send you the link to that because I was, like, fascinated by it. I watch a lot of YouTube videos where they cook.
I do too.
I mean, that's why I like these books that talk about food, and, like, if you mention a latke, I'm gonna read whatever you're writing. I don't care.
That was Crazy Rich Asians. The first book made me so hungry. Ugh.
I never read that.
It's a good, lighthearted somewhat, there's some problems with it, but just representation-wise, like, yes, it's an Asian book, but they also are very apparently white Asians, which was part of the problem when they cast the movie, I guess.
Yeah.
So they're like, we really can't say a lot, except for Singapore is very diverse.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I remember that. I remember all that when that came out, but I never read the book, so I was never quite sure.
oh, if you love reading romance novels with food, I'd say it's more of a rom-com than anything,
I like
but with
rom-coms.
food. Definitely read the first book. I
Okay.
was like, I want all the dumplings, and they're like there's footnotes for it to describe it, and I was just like, I'm so hungry right now.
Oh, if you like cozy mysteries,
Mhm.
I highly recommend the Coffee House Mysteries by Cleo Coyle. They actually have recipes in the back of the book, like actual recipes that she makes in the book. They tell you how to make them, and like they make like desserts, like butter bar, like
Mhm.
there's some kind of like butter bars, and they've also got like coffee recipes and all kinds of stuff.
I'm here for this.
Yes, this is why I'm telling you, because I know you enjoy eating just like me. I mean, my
Oh.
roundness tells me I enjoy eating, so I know this for a fact, but still.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
I like my roundness. It's my roundness. No one else can have it.
I mean, you worked on that very hard.
I did. Do you know how much food I had to eat to make this roundness? It was not an easy task. It's
That's
taken me
always-
almost 40 years. I'm happy about it.
I love when people are like, don't you want to, like, lose weight? And I'm like, I worked hard. I work hard, and I like to eat. Please don't judge me.
I mean, that's the same thing. Like, I enjoy cooking. Again, that's why I love these kind of books, because it's like, it feels comforting.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, I don't know when you'll be back, because who the hell knows what my schedule's going to be like, because COVID times. There may be a vaccine, but it's still COVID times, because there's not enough vaccines for the entire planet, because there's like 7.5 billion people, so it'll be a hot second. But until that time,
It's been real. It's been fun. It's been real fun.
We spent like, what, 75% of the year talking to each other about books, so we're good.
Yeah. We've had a great year. And I suggest for your 8 days of, I guess when this comes out, Hanukkah's over, but for your holiday quarantining, I suggest you listen to them all. And if you feel sad, join her Patreon and listen to us read the COVID romance book, because I was crying, she was crying, I'm sure Sven was crying.
Oh, yes.
It'll bring joy about a medium-length python.
Which we determined was about, like, what, 10 feet or so?
It's still too big! Ma'am, are you okay? Oh, also, my other favorite quote was when she fucked the farmer's cross-eyed son's eyes straight. She uncrossed his eyes with the power of an orgasm. So, if you want more comments like that, check out the Patreon. I'm just
And that's
pushing your
exclusive.
Patreon.
That's exclusive to Patreon, too. It's never going to be live on this, so you have to listen to it there.
Yeah, you know, as a Christmas gift. Jessica, just be like, here you go, Merry Christmas. I
And you
donate
can
a
hear
little
it.
more.
Wait, and you can hear it for only $2 a month.
Yeah, that's a
Exclusive
good deal.
content is only $2 a month. It's a pretty good deal, actually, because there's a lot of stuff in there. And Sven and I have been watching Christmas movies, and we're going to record some things about them.
Oh, yeah.
The next episode for this podcast will be he and I talking about a love-inspired Harlequin, his first Harlequin he's ever read.
Oh, dear.
And it's called, like, the Christmas Twins, so...
Is it like the princess switch? And you're just
No.
like, why?
Oh, no, apparently it's, like, something about, like, they're trying to figure out, like, the like, how the twins are, like, how to be, like, authority figures, like, you know, parental figures, whatever. Anyway, it's pretty interesting. He's reading it now, and he's writing notes about it.
Aww.
He's got to read it quickly. I can read it in, like, a day, because Harlequins don't take me a while, but,
No.
like, I'm letting him read it, and he's got little notes and everything, guys. Like, he's making, like, legit notes.
I love it.
On paper. He's actually writing them down.
I love it so much. He's not me and just doing Kindle notes.
No, it's not on Kindle. It's actually a paperback book.
Oh, even better.
I brought it from me. I didn't bring it from me, but I had it like in my stuff that my mom sent me this last time, and like all my books were in there to kind of balance it out. So I have like a couple of Harlequins and stuff like that in there, and this was one of the ones, and I'm like, score, because I was going to do it last year, but I moved, so I didn't have time to bring it, and so now
you do.
yes, Harlequin. That'll be the first Harlequin that I've ever done on the podcast.
Yeah.
And it's our Christmas episode, because every year we try to read something or watch something, so.
I like it.
That's our Christmas gift of the world. Listening to us be a couple, and nauseatingly
Cute.
like Larissa and Yo. Exactly.
I'm here for it. Not mad.
It'll be coming up on Christmas.
Ugh.
It'll drop. So it'll drop like 8 days from now, 9 days, something like that.
If we ever get off this call and let Sven edit it while he just sits there and slowly cries himself to why can't they stop talking?
Nah, that's when we actually kept it like very much lower than normal, guys, just for the record.
That is true.
Okay. Alright. So I will end the call, but we will not stop talking, but I will end the call.
Yeah. You'll end the recording?
Yes. Say goodbye.
Goodbye. Happy Hanukkah.
Bye. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I had a ball. I'm so glad I was able to find a Hanukkah book that was happy and joyful and beautiful and everything amazing. I really, really want this to be a good thing and a good day. If you guys have any other suggestions, please let me know. And I especially want to thank Allie Williams for helping me on Twitter because she gave me a whole list of options, and this is the one we came up with based on opportunity and length and a couple of other reasons, but I really appreciate it. If you guys want to catch us on any social media, I say us because, well, I have guests all the time, right? You can find me, the host, at Damsels Podcast for Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Patreon. You can also find me at damselspodcast@gmail.com, and we also have the damselspodcast.com, which is just the main website where you can listen to all previous episodes and get a little bit of access. Also, we have a store, and I kind of forget to talk about it sometimes, but we have this really cool TeePublic store, and I will link to you the information, and we can go from there. I also want to say that it's been a really hard year for us in 2020. It's been chaotic and full of everything. Oof. But there's been a whole lot of joy, and I want Christmas month is what I call it, but it's actually just holiday month. I want holiday month to be full of happiness, and I want to spread that. And if there is any kind of holiday book that I should be reading, please let me know so I can prepare for next year, because I love to read ahead, and I like to read all about a bunch of different backgrounds and a bunch of different experiences. And as much as I like my Hallmark, I also want to be a little bit more inclusive, because I feel like you guys have been nice enough to include me, so I want to extend that back out. I want you guys to have a good day. That's it. Just have a good day. No matter what, the smallest little moment in your day, have a good one. Like, even if it is just finding that penny on the sidewalk, because that penny is making the difference of having $2.99 or $3 so you can go catch a burger or catch some chips. Or if you're really smart, you'll find a place to get some latkes, because damn, talking with Courtney, I never really want a latke, but I can't go find those so easily around here. Well, I could, but I'm in Germany. We're all shut down right now. So, have a good time. We'll have a new episode coming out in a couple days for Christmas, as always, because it's seasonal tradition. Bye, guys.